What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys right here, right now, today. And this is episode number 524 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling Podcast here for today's Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. And this is your AEW Revolution 2024 review and results show for today, Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. A picture-perfect ending for the career of Sting, saying goodbye to the icon. Sting is truly one of the very best and one of the greatest wrestlers that you will ever have the opportunity to meet and ever see. And we'll talk about this and so much more on the show, as he had the perfect send-off tonight as we get this party started coming up next. So make sure, everybody, you don't go away, because your AEW Revolution 2024 review and results show will be coming up next. Don't go away, because I will be right back.
This is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Overman, Exodus Pro founder, EC3. I'm here with Big T, and you're watching Beyond the Ring with Big T. Cool.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. The This is the Neon Tarantino, the Ace Degenerate, Super Indy Scorsese, the best professional wrestler in the Midwest, Derek Dillinger. And you're listening to, what is it? Beyond the Ring with Big T. Beyond the Ring with Big T. And that is a wrap. Cut! This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T. Thank you, man. Big T. Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring. Big T.
How is everybody doing out there tonight? Are you all ready to talk about AEW Revolution? I sure am. There we are. How you doing, guys? Welcome to the show. This is episode number 524 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling podcast here for today, Sunday, March 3rd. 2024, and your AEW Revolution review results show, Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. I'm your host, Big T, right here with all of you guys right here today. Welcome to the show, and boy, am I excited to talk about this. I am so excited to talk about this show. This was one of the best, if not the best, pay-per-view that AEW has ever put on. That's number one. Number two, this may be one of the best pay-per-views, not just only of the year, but possibly of all time. The show was perfect start to finish, in my opinion. They had me scared at one point when Renee Young on the pre-show, or Renee Paquette on the pre-show, was saying, that the Triple Threat World title match would be the main event. I even said that's a big mistake. That'll throw this whole show off. There's nothing bigger than Sting's last match. A world title, even though a world title is prestigious, it doesn't mean as much as the career of the icon Sting. So, I'm very happy that they decided to go with this match, for the main event, Sting's match, because that's how it needed to be, and everything was it was perfect. I mean, the perfect send-off. If I was Sting, he really doesn't need to wrestle again. I mean, if he's looking for perfect closure on his career, this match really was it. You're not going to get any more closure than what he got. And I don't know if it could be done any better than what was done tonight. I applaud AEW, and I applaud Tony Khan. Everybody that made this special night come together. And, for Sting being one of my all-time favorites, to see him perform at the level he did, to go out on the level that he went out on, I mean, just everything. Everything about it was perfect. This was a storybook ending for an incredible career. I cannot praise this enough. The match itself, amazing match. Sting, really, he's still retiring on the top of his game. He didn't miss a beat. He looks like he still has quite a bit left in the tank to give. And he's going to be 65 years old in 17 days and 2.5 weeks. I mean, Sting, there will never be another Sting. Sting will always be one of the very greatest professional wrestlers of all time, and one of the greatest wrestlers that this sport has ever seen. Sting is truly an icon, a legend, any word you can think of to describe Sting. Just an amazing man. And I had the honor and privilege of meeting him, before. And one of the true nicest men in this business that you're ever going to meet. And actually, I will pull up those pictures for you guys, because I do have them. I do indeed have them here, so hold on one second. Some amazing memories with Sting. If I can shrink these up here so that you guys can see. Yeah, amazing moments, amazing memories. Sting truly one of the greatest that this business will ever see. And honestly, one of the nicest, kindest people. To be in Sting's presence and to get to meet him, and just how nice and how friendly, and it was at WrestleCon in 2014 in New Orleans, Louisiana, the weekend of WrestleMania 30. I had the honor and privilege of meeting Sting. Now, of course, it's been talked about before here, my own physical challenges that I deal with. And when I go to events such as WrestleMania or WrestleCon, or any events of that nature, I need assistance from a wheelchair, due to my cerebral palsy. And when I take pictures and photo ops with the wrestlers, I never like to be seated in my wheelchair. So, got up to Sting in his part of the line, and security, they were going to, help me up out of my wheelchair, walk me up to the table where Sting was sitting and signing autographs and taking photos with people. And, Sting got up from his table, and keep in mind he had a line full of people waiting to meet him. But this is, just a little bit of insight as to who Sting, really is. And Sting got up from his table where he was sitting at, and he started to walked over to where the security was that was going to help me up out of my wheelchair. and he told them, that it's all right. He's got this, and he held out his hand for me to grab him by his hand. I grabbed his hand. He, pulled me up out of my wheelchair. So I was standing up. He, then proceeded to hold my hand and walk me over to his table where he was signing autographs and taking photos. And, he just, he thanked me for going out there to see him and to meet him. And, I thanked him for his contribution to the professional wrestling business, and, just words of encouragement from Sting, just, telling me, with my challenges that I deal with, just never give up, keep fighting. And then he started to say a few words. He talked about some scripture in the Bible, and he then said a prayer, a short prayer with me. And after he did that, he signed his autograph, and then he took these pictures with me. The one picture, actually, that you see here with us shaking hands, that photo was taken by the security, and that's when he was, that's when he just got through with saying a prayer for me. And he was just holding me by the hand. It looks like we were shaking hands, but when we shook hands, we actually really, we never let go. He kept holding my hand for a while and, said a short prayer, and, that photo was taken. And then we took these couple of photos afterwards, and once the photos were taken, I expected at least, just for security to come walking up and take me from his table and sit me back in my wheelchair. But no, that's not what happened. Sting then, after these photos were taken, he grabbed me by the hand again, and he walked me over to my wheelchair, and, then he sat me down, and, he told me again, thank you for coming to see me today, and, best of luck to you, and just wished me all the best. And I told him thank you, and, how much I appreciate him and appreciate his contribution to the professional wrestling business, and that I'll be watching his career closely, like I always have, and, keeping an eye on him. And, of course, he said thank you again, and, that was the end of the meet and greet. And it was one of the greatest meet and greets, that I ever had and experienced. So, I mean, this was an amazing experience I wanted to share with you guys, but that is who Sting, really is. Just an amazing guy, and, a guy that you would always want to meet, for sure. So, there you go, guys. Wanted to share that with all of you, and hope you enjoyed that little story. But yeah, Sting, one of the true greats, one of the greatest of all time in the professional wrestling business. Alright, so now, in the words of Sting, I must say, everybody, that it is... Hold on here, let's get the screen back. Right here. Must say, in the words of Sting, everybody, that it is showtime, as we're going to talk about AEW Revolution. So I hope you guys are ready for it. I sure am ready for it. So let's get into it and see what we got on this incredible pay-per-view. Alright. Revolution results. Here we go. Alright, so we start here. Of course, Revolution show is heavily focused on Sting, with this being his final ever night as a professional wrestler. The Young Bucks have tried to make Sting's retirement as difficult as possible. And, tonight Sting and Darby Allin will finally get the chance to deal with the Young Bucks as Sting aims to end his AEW career undefeated as they collide in a tornado tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Elsewhere, 5 other title matches set to take place on the show. Samoa Joe defending his AEW World Championship against both Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Toni Storm will be defending her title against her longtime friend turned rival Deonna Purrazzo. Meanwhile, Will Ospreay will compete in his first match as an official AEW star against Konosuke Takeshita. So, that's just a little taste of what we have coming here in Revolution. An incredible, incredible show. And guys, I was so pumped up, so excited, to get into this, to talk about it. And the show, it delivered. It delivered in more ways than one. It really did. So, let's take a look here. And before we get started, and get the show into full gear, I'm going to take a short commercial break here. So hang tight with me. I'll be right back.
This is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Overman, Exodus Pro founder, EC3. I'm here with Big T, and you're watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is the Neon Tarantino, the Ace Degenerate, Super Indy Scorsese, the best professional wrestler in the Midwest, Derek Dillinger. And you're listening to, what is it? Beyond the Ring with Big T. Beyond the Ring with Big T. And that is a wrap. Cut!
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T.
Thank you, man.
Big T!
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joe Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Overman, Exodus Pro founder, EC3. I'm here with Big T, and you're watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is the Neon Tarantino, the Ace Degenerate, Super Indie Scorsese, the best professional wrestler in the Midwest, Derek Dillinger, and you're listening to, what is it? Beyond Beyond the Ring with Big T. Beyond the Ring with Big T. And that is a wrap. Cut!
This is M-Dog20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you're checking out Beyond the Ring with my man, Big T.
Thank you, man.
Big T!
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joe Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring. AEW.
Alright, how's everybody doing there? Are you guys ready to rock and roll? After that commercial break, got everything situated, all the notes are lined up, everything's ready to go. And we're gonna rock and roll and do this. And an especially friendly face says hello to everybody out there. So now, we got everything set up and ready to go. Let's get this party started, shall we? Let's start it off with this. Got a 12-man tag team match. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang of Switchblade Jay White, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, the acclaimed Platinum X, Caster Anthony Bowens, Daddy Ass Billy Gunn, going up against Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, Private Party of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, and Willie Mack. I mean, honestly, this match wasn't too bad. It was a decent opener. A decent pre-show match, because this is on the 0 hour pre-show. The opening match of that very pre-show. And I gotta say, it was some pretty good stuff. It was some really pretty good stuff. If this was on the main card, I probably would have thought a little bit differently, to where I would have said, this really didn't need to be on main card. But when you're talking 0 hour pre-show, putting a fun little match like this on there to kind of, get everybody ready. See, because that's what pre-show matches are really meant to do, is get everybody ready. Get those juices flowing, get everybody kind of pumped up, get them ready to, just to go, to rock and roll. And that's what this did. A very decent match. It had its spots. It had some good stuff. Had a couple of moments here. Of course, Jarrett's team, they tried to do their old tricks and, see what they could do to cheat and whatnot, but Bang Bang Scissor Gang, was able to overcoming. Billy Gunn actually got a hot tag in this match, and he cleaned house until Satnam Singh took him out by swiping his leg. And, at one point in this match, as we near the end, inside the ring, Satnam Singh is staring down Switchblade Jay White. Billy Gunn then pulls him away. Satnam Singh pushes them both, and then Switchblade and Daddy Ass work together to take Satnam Singh down. Willie Mack then nails a super kick to Billy Gunn, but then gets dropped with a Blade Runner from Switchblade Jay White, and that did the job for the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win. So your winners are the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. After the match, Switchblade Jay White puts over the fans and says in Boston he might handle some big business of his own. Now, what could Switchblade have meant by that? Do you think that he could have possibly meant some big business with maybe Kazuchika Okada, who's maybe rumored to be coming into AEW? Because Kazuchika Okada was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but his contract expired there. So, maybe now Okada is going to be coming in. I don't know. We'll see what they do, but I think it's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty interesting. So, at this point here, Bang Bang Scissor Gang, they get the win. After this backstage segment, Orange Cassidy tells the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, to stay in the back as he is sick of them getting hurt for him. And then a video package then airs for Pac. Now, Pac, as we know, has been out of AEW for a long time now. When this video package aired for Pac, a lot of people, they were super excited for Pac. Now, Pac here, it was a video package promoting Pac's return. So, let's read what this is about with this video package. There's no shortage of talent on the AEW roster, and that collective is soon to be strengthened even further with the return of Pac. In a vignette during AEW Revolution 0 Hour, Pac was shown portraying multiple images of himself in various situations, sometimes all together in a bit of a multiple personalities type vibe. As Pac, who's a former AEW International Champion and a former All-Atlantic Champion, announced that he will be back very soon, promising to take AEW into a new age. It has been quite some time since Pac was seen on AEW television, July 26th of 2023, to be exact. In fact, in the time since then, it was announced that Pac was dealing with a significant injury and that he would not be able to compete for quite a while now, by AEW President Tony Khan. Interestingly enough, Pac referenced Tony Khan by name in the vignette, insinuating that the boss might have preferred it if he would not come back at all. Pac said this, "You will never get rid of me, Tony Khan," is what Pac says. And I quote, going on to this quote, Pac says, "I am like a cockroach, an indestructible little bastard, always lurking in the underbelly. I will be back very soon, whether you like it or not, and I'm going to drag this festering scrotum of a company into a new age." Now, we last saw Pac on an episode of AEW Dynamite defeating Gravity via submission in a match that apparently re-aggravated an existing injury, and though it has cost him nearly 7 months and counting, Pac assured everyone tonight that he is not done yet and he is ready to resume competing in AEW. Pac says, and I quote to close out that video package, "I am alive, ladies and gentlemen, and doesn't it feel good to be alive?" Great stuff. Great stuff, exciting stuff. And, yeah, that's what we got. So, now that we covered that, let's go forward here with one more piece of news, and then we'll get into the show. Just so you guys know, AEW adds a new pay-per-view to their calendar, and they will present Dynasty in April. The card at AEW Revolution featured plenty of action, with both the men's and women's world titles being defended, the International Championship changing hands, a car crash of an 8-man all-star scramble, Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita trying to end each other, and of course the legendary Sting's final match. It also broke some news in the form of a brand new pay-per-view making its way onto AEW's schedule, as Dynasty will debut on Sunday, April 21st in St. Louis, Missouri. If 2023's schedule is a reliable guideline, Dynasty will slot in just ahead of Double or Nothing, giving AEW an opportunity to flesh out additional storylines ahead of one of its big 4 events. Dynasty will officially become AEW's 10th unique pay-per-view event, following Double or Nothing, Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, All Out, and Full Gear, all debuting in 2019, with Revolution joining the fray in 2020, Forbidden Door in 2022, and All In, Wrestle Dream, and World's End in 2023. The event will mark AEW's 5th visit to St. Louis, Missouri, having previously held tapings for Dark and Rampage there in 2021, Dynamite, Rampage, and Dark Elevation in 2022, Dynamite and Rampage in 2023, and Collision most recently in January of this year in 2024. So, there is everything you need to know. Now let's move on with our second pre-show match. Sky Blue and Julia Hart going up against Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. I mean, this match was what it was. You know, it was nothing great, or spectacular. It was a decent women's match. I could give it that much, where it's on the decent end of a women's match. But, anything beyond decent would definitely be a stretch. I wouldn't say anything better than decent. You know what it was? It was a good pre-show match. That's where it gets into the good area. If this was on the pay-per-view card, it wouldn't have felt right. But on the pre-show, this did what it needed to do. It was a good match for the pre-show. Makes sense, guys? I think it does. But, that's my opinion on it. In the end here, let's see what we got in the end of this match. Right here. Willow Nightingale tags in and misses with the enziguri, but she does connect with a pounce as she follows it up with a Dr. Bomb, pinning Sky Blue for the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win. Your winners are Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. And that was it for the AEW Revolution 0 Hour pre-show. Alright, so now, are you guys ready for main show action? Because now we're going to have the Revolution main show. The Revolution main show's where it's at. I mean, for a pre-show, though, was some pretty good stuff, right? For a pre-show. You know, and not only is Revolution one of the best pay-per-views of all time, like I stated, I also have one of the best layouts for a pay-per-view of all time made here for the show, as you guys can see, with the crows and the scorpions and the black and white, and Sting himself there with his baseball bat and all his glory. So a big thank you to Mr. Eric Green of EJ's Imaging for making this awesome layout and for making Beyond the Ring with Big T look great for all of your Revolution coverage. As we're going to get back to it and rock and roll here, guys. Alright, so what do we got next? Well, for the main card, we got a pretty damn good match here for the AEW. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. Excuse me. Alright. So, I mean, this was a good match. You know, I love what Christian Cage has done here, you know, in his current run as AEW TNT champion. You know, he's been amazing. And the first match of the night here is a singles match for the AEW TNT championship. And we got Christian Cage, the AEW TNT champion, defending his AEW TNT championship against Daniel Garcia. And, of course, Daniel Garcia was out there with nobody, and Christian Cage was out there with Nick Wayne, the Prodigy, you know, then Killswitch and Nick Wayne's mom, and he had everybody in his corner. He had everybody in his corner. Excuse me, everybody. Alright. So, this TNT title match, this was great. Christian, you know, did what he needed to do. You know, at the end here, as we skip ahead in this match, you know, Christian Cage, let's see, he then proceeds to get help from Mama Wayne, Nick Wayne's mother, you know, and Nick Wayne and Killswitch, who's formerly known as Luchasaurus. You know, Daniel Garcia was able to overcome distractions from Killswitch and Mama Wayne, but a cutter from Nick Wayne gave Christian Cage the opportunity to end up drilling Daniel Garcia with a Killswitch for the 1-2-3 in the pin of the win. But Daniel Garcia he even had help from his own ally, Daddy Magic Menard, who came to blows with Killswitch and stared down Mama Wayne, but all for naught. You know, Christian Cage has been AEW TNT champion since AEW World's End at the end of December. Christian Cage was initially defeated for the AEW TNT championship by Adam Copeland, but used Killswitch's guaranteed TNT title shot to re-challenge Adam Copeland that same night, recapturing the AEW TNT championship just moments later after losing it. Christian Cage's 2 AEW TNT title reigns have amounted to 161 days, the third longest reign in the history of the AEW TNT championship, which was established in 2020. But I mean, yeah, this was good. This was a good match. You know, at this point, you know, in all the chaos, you know, with Daddy Magic and Mama Wayne, you know, Killswitch and Daddy Magic fought to the back. Christian looked for the spear. His ankle gave away. Daniel Garcia nailed the pile driver. Christian kicked out. The referee then gets distracted. Nick Wayne got involved, hitting the cutter, allowing Christian Cage to hit the kill switch of his own. And that's what led to the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win, and Christian Cage still being your AEW TNT champion. So good stuff here to start off. Let's move on to the second match of the main show here. And boy, oh boy, you want to talk about a treat. This match, this was a good one. I mean, all these matches were good, but I'm telling you guys, this match was awesome. So, let's get into this and talk about it right here. Match for the AEW Continental Crown Championship. And, singles match, Eddie Kingston, the AEW Continental Crown Champion, defending his AEW Continental Crown Championship against the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. So, yeah, this match was just, I mean, for Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson, the best match that these two men have ever had with each other. You know, let's see what we got here. You know, the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, he was targeting his preferential right arm. At multiple stages, it appeared as though Eddie Kingston would succumb to the onslaught from the American Dragon. But after getting his second wind in a standing strike exchange with Danielson, Kingston took advantage with the powerbomb to score the pinfall victory. So, you know, Kingston had a mountain of offense to overcome before his victory. You know, that's just how it was. Eddie Kingston defeated Bryan Danielson once again at AEW Revolution, retaining the Continental Crown Championship and earning the respect of his nemesis. At this point here, you know, after all this, after the match, as Eddie Kingston stipulated beforehand, Bryan Danielson had to observe the code of honor and shake hands. At first, Bryan Danielson feigned a refusal before pulling Kingston back for the embrace, putting him over to the audience before leaving the ring. Sunday's Continental title match was a rematch of Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson's December semifinal match in the Continental Classic Tournament, which Eddie Kingston eventually won with victories over Danielson and later Jon Moxley. It was also the first time that Eddie Kingston had been able to defeat Bryan Danielson, having lost their 3 previous matches in the Blue League block of the Continental Classic, in the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament in 2021, and in their very first singles match in Chikara in 2010. Eddie Kingston remains the AEW Continental, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight, and Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. After the victory, Danielson still has yet to win a championship in AEW. But boy, oh boy, was this match good. Really, really good. I mean, Kingston, too. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, he showed some fight. Danielson connected with the Busaiku knee. Eddie Kingston, you know, kicked out of that. Danielson then stomped down on the head of Eddie Kingston's, you know, when Danielson says he's going to stomp your head in, he was doing that move and stomping Eddie Kingston's head in, and then he even locked in the triangle choke. Eddie Kingston refused to quit to that. Danielson then nailed his kicks, which used to be known as the Yes Kicks in WWE, and then Danielson hit the German suplex. Kingston popped up from that, hitting the suplex of his own. That's when they traded slaps to the face. Kingston won that battle. Danielson then ends up going for the Busaiku knee again. Kingston blocked it that time and stacked up Danielson with the power bomb. That's what got the 1-2-3, the pin and the win. And your winner and still AEW Continental Crown Champion, Eddie Kingston. After the match, Bryan Danielson shows his respect to Eddie Kingston by shaking his hand and raising it in the air, getting the fans chanting, Eddie, 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 Eddie. And there you go. It was good, guys. It was really good. I gotta say, if people didn't like it, then, it was what it was. But I'm telling you, that was a good match. Something to go back and watch. I liked it, at least. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, probably, but I thought it was really good. Next up, the 8-man All-Star Scramble. With the winner getting an AEW, or becoming the number 1 contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So, this was also really good. Who do we have here? We had Hook, we had Chris Jericho, and we had Wardlow, and Dante Martin, Magnus, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Powerhouse Hobbs. And Pentagon, as well. Or no, not Pentagon. Dante Martin won that match, I'm sorry. So there you go. So, there was some pretty damn good talent in this match, guys. But, let's see who got the win, right? Well, let's talk about it here. Let's talk about it. At the end of the match, we thought Jericho got hit with the World's Strongest Slam from Hobbs. Jericho then sprayed Hobbs in the face with the fog machine. Wardlow hits his powerbomb to Brian Cage, but Dante Martin stopped the pinfall. Martin then dropped Magnus, but Archer then pulls him off and hits the clothesline as he gets sent out of the ring, and then Wardlow drops Hook with the lariat before powerbombing Dante Martin and pinning him for the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win. So your winner is Wardlow, as my buddy Wardlow wins an 8-man All-Star Scramble match. He gets a future world title shot against Samoa Joe in the future. So outlasting 7 other competitors in what can be described as a demolition derby of a match, Wardlow prevailed in the All-Star Scramble at AEW Revolution to earn a shot at the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in the future. Wardlow had to persevere through plenty of adversity in the match, including a double submission attempt when Hook was attempting a red rum, and Chris Jericho looked to take advantage by also slapping on a lion tamer. How the match would have been decided had Wardlow tapped or passed out there is anyone's guess, but in the end, it mattered not, as Wardlow was able to power out and continue his assaults on the rest of the field, which included Dante Martin, CMLL's Magnus, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, this match took the place of what was originally supposed to be dubbed as a Meat Madness match featuring Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Lance Archer, and other men that were going to be named, only to be scrapped due to multiple injuries, though all 3 initially announced participants took part in tonight's scramble. Oh yeah, Lance Archer, yeah, he was in there, that's right. So, yeah, took part in tonight's scramble. AEW President Tony Khan later clarified that he hoped Miro and Keith Lee would be available, but the pivot was made when they were not available. While Wardlow benefited the most from the multi-man showcase in earning the win, as might be expected in such a scenario. All involved had the opportunity to put their unique skill sets on display. Hook, not too far removed from his superhuman effort against AEW World Heavyweight Champion Samoa Joe, had multiple submission attempts and an out-of-character double axe handle off the top rope, for instance, but was unable to further the momentum gained from his near championship showing against Samoa Joe from early January. Dante Martin launched himself all around the ring and outside as well, including a couple of scary spots, and Chris Jericho's efforts to take a chunk out of Hobbs, a member of the rival Don Callis family, were thwarted by a World's Strongest Slam on the arena floor. Yeah, so there was some crazy stuff that went on in that match. But in the end, my buddy Wardlow gets the win. Awesome stuff. Next up here as we move on, Wardlow becoming the number one contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe he'll get that world title shot at Dynasty. We'll see. Next up, we got a match for the AEW International Championship. It's a singles match. We got Orange Cassidy, the AEW International Champion, defending his AEW International Championship against Roderick Strong. So, let's see what happens here in this match. This is another one, by the way, that I thought was good. I thought the 8-man scramble was good. I mean, everything so far in this show just flowed together nicely. The match order was done right. I mean, everything that AEW could have done right for this entire pay-per-view, they did. Just to be straight up honest. You know, they did it right. Anyway, this match again, you know, good match, decent match. Something that was worth watching, and I really enjoyed it. Now let's take a look here. You know, the end of this match, you know, things started to kind of break down and go crazy. Orange Cassidy hit the Panama Sunrise. Roderick Strong kicked out. Roderick Strong hit another one of his backbreakers, but then Orange Cassidy hit an orange punch. Orange Cassidy tried for the beach break, but his back gives away. However, Orange Cassidy grabs the ropes and pulls himself up to hit the move, as Orange Cassidy attempts an orange punch, but gets caught with a knee to the face, and then with the end of Heartache for the 1-2-3 in the pin and the win. Your winner and new AEW International Champion, Roderick Strong. So Roderick Strong wins the AEW International title. Kyle O'Reilly also returns at AEW Revolution. Roderick Strong has won his first title in AEW at Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view. The Messiah of the Backbreaker wore down AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy, punishing his torso with his myriad backbreaker. After the match, Kyle O'Reilly returned to AEW looking disheveled and cagey. Now, the Undisputed Kingdom offered Kyle O'Reilly a t-shirt and a place in the faction, but Kyle O'Reilly whispered something to Roderick Strong and declined. So details on Kyle O'Reilly have been scarce over the past year as he recovered from neck surgery. Adam Cole recently gave a vague update on his health in September, sounding optimistic. Now, Kyle O'Reilly, a former WWE NXT North American champion and Cruiserweight champion, as well as Ring of Honor World Television champion, Roderick Strong, not Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, former NXT North American Champion and Cruiserweight Champion, as well as Ring of Honor World Television Champion. This title marks Roderick Strong's first title win since joining AEW in 2023, as Strong spent much of his debut year in a neck brace, acting as more of a mouthpiece for his friend Adam Cole during Adam Cole's budding tag team with MJF, as he was revealed alongside the Kingdom and Wardlow as Adam Cole's associate in the Undisputed Kingdom, which revealed itself at AEW World's End. Orange Cassidy had been international champion since October 10th of 2023, his second reign with the International Championship, as Orange Cassidy's first initial reign is the longest in the young history of the title, at 326 days, while Orange Cassidy's 2 reigns have added up to 471 days combined, the longest combined reign in the former All-Atlantic Champion's history. Orange Cassidy's numerous defenses took a toll on his body, leaving him barely cleared by AEW medical staff for Sunday's match. So, there you go. Alright, guys. So again, good match, really, really good match. And after the match is over, Kyle O'Reilly getting in the ring, Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly embracing, and they instantly offer him an Undisputed Kingdom t-shirt, but Kyle O'Reilly gave it back to Roderick Strong and whispered something to him. So, we'll see where this whole storyline is going to go. We don't know exactly where it's all going to go, but we'll find out at some point sooner or later. Next up, this is a match I was looking forward to. I would think you guys were looking forward to this too. This was a match, although it had nothing on the line, it was definitely something to just want to watch and be invested in, And the match that I'm talking about, I think you guys know. Talking about the tag team match, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club going up against Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood of FTR. Now, what a match this was. What a match. You want to talk about good stuff? For tag team matches with no titles on the line to try to make those feel important, boy did they ever. So, I liked how Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli came out wearing the Road Warriors-esque shoulder pads with the spikes on it. I thought that was pretty cool stuff. But, let's take a look here. Let's get this set up. Alright. So FTR fought back. They tried for a Shadow Machine on Jon Moxley, but he blocked it. Wheeler's dropped with a cutter. Harwood was taken on with a giant swing. And then Jon Moxley drop kicked Harwood, out of midair while he was in the giant swing, but it wasn't enough to give them the win. Moxley nails elbow strikes to Harwood's cut head and even bites the area. However, as Blackpool Combat Club both look to take out Harwood, Wheeler fights back and then holds Moxley up so Wheeler can dive and take him out, and followed up by a Shadow Machine. But Claudio pulls Harwood out of the ring as he uppercuts Wheeler as he dives into him. But Harwood plants him outside of the ring, only for Moxley to hit a Death Rider, which Harwood gets out of. Both Blackpool Combat Club members then hit the ring and lock FTR into submission as the referee calls the match. And your winners of the Blackpool Combat Club are Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. So, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeat FTR in a bloody slugfest at AEW Revolution. The Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli outlasted FTR in a bloody match at AEW Revolution. FTR were forced to endure a dominant performance from the eventual victors, with Moxley and Castagnoli controlling much of the match, interspersed with FTR's comeback attempts. Dax Harwood was busted wide open after colliding with the ring post. It's nothing like when you get a little bit of that color, if you know what I mean. It just adds so much to a match, leaving the ring mat stained with blood. Before the closing stretch of the match, finishes were exchanged, yet neither team could put the other team away. But it was Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli who took advantage, locking in synchronous submissions for the referee's stoppage. And tonight's clash here, the match between FTR and Blackpool Combat Club, was a rematch of their 20-minute time limit draw for a tag match during AEW Dynamite in February, which was, on Wednesday, earlier on in the week. That was... Friday. That was February 28th, I believe. And, the sequel to that match, this match went slightly longer than its precursor at just under 22 minutes of action. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli scored some semblance of retribution with their win, following stablemate the American Dragon Bryan Danielson's failed attempt to unrest the Continental Championship from Eddie Kingston earlier tonight. Danielson had partnered with Moxley and Claudio during last week's AEW Dynamite against Eddie Kingston and FTR, winning the match for his team via referee stoppage. Now, the win tonight also makes a statement amidst the return to the rankings, as a win over the former champions may put the Blackpool Combat Club in good stead to pursue the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So, we'll see what happens with that. But I'm really loving this. FTR and Moxley and Claudio, sign me up for that. I wouldn't mind if one of these teams would become AEW World Tag Team Champions and, battle over the World Tag Team Championships. I'd be more than happy for that to, be a full-blown feud over the Tag Team Championships. These teams do great work with each other, so why wouldn't you want to see it? I know I would. Anyway, moving forward here. We got a women's match. We got a match for the AEW Women's World Championship. We got the AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Deonna Purrazzo in a singles match. So, let's take a look here. To start this off, Mariah May, who's Toni Storm's, assistant, whatever you want to call her, who's obsessed. Mariah May is completely obsessed with Toni Storm's old gimmick, or not old gimmick, but just Toni Storm in general. But so Mariah May comes out in Toni Storm's old gimmick with the music, the long hair, getting people to think it was Toni Storm. But then Mariah May took the glasses off. I think everybody realized it was her. And then Toni Storm's real music hits, and she appears in her timeless character. So that's how this whole thing, started. That's how this whole thing started off to get us going. So let's see. Now, going forward, Toni Storm, Deonna Purrazzo. It's go down here to the closing sequences. So, Toni Storm ended up hitting her hip attack and DDT. Purrazzo managed to kick out, and then Purrazzo sent Toni Storm out of the ring right into her butler Luther's arms. Toni Storm, looked like she was going to get carried away from all this, but Deonna Purrazzo dives from the top turnbuckle, taking down Toni Storm and Luther. And Purrazzo locks in the armbar, which is the, what did she name it? The Venus flytrap or something. I forgot what she named her submission move. So, at this point, Purrazzo locks in the armbar. The referee then gets distracted and doesn't see Toni Storm tapping out. Purrazzo releases the hold to attack Mariah May, but as she turns around, Toni Storm connects with the pile driver for the 1-2-3 and the pin and the win. And your winner, and still the AEW Women's World Champion, timeless Toni Storm, and the pile driver, of course, is the Storm Zero. So, at this point here, guys, your winner and still AEW Women's World Champion, timeless Toni Storm. So, timeless Toni Storm beats Deonna Purrazzo, retaining the AEW Women's World title at Revolution. For a moment, it looked as though there might be a new AEW Women's World Champion crowned at Revolution, as Deonna Purrazzo had timeless Toni Storm locked in her, not the Venus flytrap, I knew it, here it is, they got the finisher named here, Venus de Milo finisher, so it was the Venus de Milo, but with Luther distracting the referee from seeing Toni Storm tap out and Deonna Purrazzo letting the move go, to deal with another distraction from Mariah May, Toni Storm capitalized with the Storm Zero to retain her title. Now, this feud has been wrought with mind games from the start, with Purrazzo imploring Toni Storm to return to the friend that she used to know, as opposed to this timeless incarnation of herself. So tonight, with Mariah May entering to Toni Storm's old music and dressed to the nines, as they said here in this, in Toni Storm's garb, befitting of her mentor's former persona, it was fitting for the Virtuosa to get distracted by the spitting image of Toni Storm's former self, only to lose her present personality. Deonna Purrazzo targeted Toni Storm from the onset of her AEW tenure, when she debuted in her home state of New Jersey in early January to address Toni Storm's disdain for the state. The history between the two was leaned into heavily, up to and including matching ankle tattoos that both women share, references to a time when they apparently lived together, and other nuances that timeless Toni Storm refused to acknowledge throughout. Whether the feud continues and or Deonna Purrazzo maintains her efforts to snap Toni Storm back into reality remains to be seen. But, Toni Storm for now remains on top of the AEW Women's Division, which is seemingly about to be bolstered even further with the anticipated addition of Mercedes Moné at AEW Dynamite Big Business on March 13th. So, there you go, guys. There you go. Toni Storm still your AEW Women's World Champion. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita is the next match. Now, this match was really, really good. This match was really, really, really good. I mean, these two men went at it. They battled and battled. And this is what we got out of it. Takeshita connects with a huge running knee, and he then looks for another, but Ospreay catches it. Ospreay connects with the Poison Rana, and Takeshita dropped Ospreay down onto his neck, to which Ospreay hits a big running forearm. They then exchange strikes until Takeshita hits a huge clothesline as he tries for a jumping knee, but Ospreay reverses it into a Styles Clash, only for it not to be enough. Ospreay hits the Tiger Driver 91, and then the Hidden Blade to get the 1-2-3 in the pin in the win to wrap things up. Your winner is Will Ospreay. Of that singles match, Will Ospreay defeats Konosuke Takeshita in full-time AEW debut at Revolution. Will Ospreay made his full-time AEW debut on Sunday and took himself and Konosuke Takeshita to each other's physical limits. Ospreay was victorious in his debut at AEW Revolution, pinning Takeshita after a Tiger Driver 91, followed by a vicious Hidden Blade. Both men are members of the Don Callis family, and following Ospreay's victory, Ospreay was greeted by Ring of Honor World Television Champion Kyle Fletcher, who Ospreay's best friends with, who was in Ospreay's United Empire faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling and is now a fellow member of the Don Callis family. During the reunion, it was announced that Ospreay would be facing Fletcher on this upcoming Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite. Now, Ospreay will have to get his physical condition checked out, though, as the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay took a thorough beating in the match, suffering a contusion on his lower back. Far from his lower back, not far from his liver. While this was Ospreay's first match in AEW under his full-time contract, he wrestled 2 matches in AEW, defeating Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door 2 on behalf of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then defeating Chris Jericho at All In August. So that's what we have there. Next up, guys, we got a triple threat match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Let me tell you something, guys. This triple threat match, this was pretty badass. This is good stuff. What exactly happened? Let's talk about it. We got a triple threat match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We got Samoa Joe, current reigning defending AEW World Heavyweight Champion, against Swerve Strickland, defending against Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. This one I'll read a little bit more of because it's a title match. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page stare down to start, so Samoa Joe takes advantage and takes the fight to both of them as he eventually dives out of the ring to attack Strickland. While as Page tries to jump out of the ring, Joe kicks him in the head. Page then sends Joe into the ropes. Swerve pulls the ropes, and that sends him out, allowing Swerve to nail Page with a big boot to the face. Strickland then goes back and attacks Joe by diving into his back from the ring apron before coming back into the ring and with a drop kick to Hangman. Joe gets back in and attacks Hangman as he plants him down to the mat. And while the pinfall doesn't work, Joe transitions straight into an STF. Joe goes to Swerve and tries to set him up for the Muscle Buster, but instead headbutts Strickland, which takes him down. However, after a distraction, fighting Hangman away, Swerve could come back to him as, he and Page then hit a double powerbomb to take Joe out, while Swerve and Hangman then go back and forth. Swerve almost has it won with a roll-up, but Joe comes in and breaks it up. Hangman nails Swerve with a tombstone pile driver, and once again, Joe is in the right place to break it up at the end there. They take down Joe again as Swerve powerbombs Hangman. He follows it up with a vertical suplex, but for the third time, Joe breaks up the pinfall attempt. Joe goes back and forth attacking both his challengers as Swerve gets chopped out of the ring. Meanwhile, inside the ring, Joe hits Hangman with a muscle buster, but then is immediately hit with a Swerve stomp and then the house call. However, he doesn't want to cover Joe and instead focuses on Hangman, and he hits him with a house call too. But Hangman kicks out, Swerve nails a DDT to Joe, and then hits a 450 splash onto the back of Joe. So then he follows it up with a Swerve stomp, but Hangman pulls out the official to keep the match going. Hangman then gets the AEW World title and nails Swerve with it several times to knock him to the floor as he tells his rival that he will never have the title. He then gets back into the ring. Hangman does to nail the buckshot lariat on Samoa Joe. He follows it up with a second buckshot, but there's no referee until one runs down, and that allows Joe to kick out. And then Hangman looks for a third buckshot on Joe, but Joe reverses it into a sleeper, only for Swerve to launch himself from the top turnbuckle to break it up. Prince Nana hands Swerve the crown to use, but he throws it away as Joe then locks in the sleeper, but Swerve then reverses and is about to win until Hangman then clobbers the referee from behind to stop it. And he beats up the official and throws him out of the ring. So at this point, it's like, we have no referee. We have no referee here. And let's see. Throws him out of the ring. So Samoa Joe then starts charging into both men, but Swerve blocks the muscle buster and sends Joe into a buckshot lariat from Hangman. Swerve then nails Hangman with the move and follows it up with the JML driver, but Joe throws Swerve across the ring and locks in the Coquina clutch on Hangman, and that was it. Hangman taps out. Your winner and still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Samoa Joe. People were questioning, did Hangman tap out just because to spite Swerve because he didn't want Swerve to win the title? Who knows? But Samoa Joe taps out Hangman and Page to retain the AEW World Heavyweight title in Revolution triple threat match. Samoa Joe snatched victory from Swerve Strickland during the AEW World Heavyweight Championship triple threat match, also featuring Hangman and Page in Revolution, as Swerve looked to have the match won after landing his own adapted version of the buckshot lariat, followed by the JML driver to Hangman, only for Joe to snatch Swerve out of his pinning position for a half-and-half suplex. Afterwards, Joe locked in the Coquina clutch and forced Hangman to tap out, though the question has been asked as to whether Hangman had submitted legitimately or as a way to ensure that his arch-rival Swerve did not win the world title. Hangman was also a victim of his own actions earlier in the match, taking out the referee to prevent a Swerve pinfall before landing several shots to his adversary with the championship belt that he declared the title to be his, and that Swerve would never have it, before landing 2 buckshot lariats for the visual pin. Alas, there was no referee to make the count by the time a different ref made it into the ring. Joe kicked out, although Hangman would similarly take the new referee out before the closing stretch as he gradually became more unhinged. Joe's title reign will now continue beyond 65 days, having won the title from MJF at World's End in December. Per Fightful Select, Hangman is also reportedly scheduled to take time off soon, which may have been why he was booked to attack the referees, so they could do like a suspension, type storyline and whatnot. So, that's what we have. Now, guys, we're here to talk about the match that you guys have been waiting for, the match that I've been absolutely just eager, and I mean so eager to talk about. And that's Sting's final match. So here we go. It is now time for the main event of the evening for AEW Revolution 2024. By the way, that triple threat world heavyweight title match, though, one of the best triple threat matches you'll ever see. I'd put that up against any triple threat from match from any company any day of the week. Awesome stuff. But right now we got a match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It's a Tornado Tag Team match. We got the AEW World Tag Team Champions Sting and Darby Allin defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships against Nicholas and Jackson and Matthew Jackson of the Young Bucks. So let's see what we got here. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, woo! Is welcome to ringside, and then the special guest timekeeper Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is welcome. They all get the bottom of the ring. We're at the historic Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, so a lot of history there. Sting makes his entrance with both of his sons dressed as older versions of himself throughout the years. His one son dressed as Surfer Sting and his other son dressed as Wolfpack Sting. Sting makes his entrance with both of his sons dressed as, older versions of him throughout the years. I love how Tony Khan gave, when Sting's AEW entrance music was playing, that's when his sons came out, and then they turned the music off, and then they turned on Metallica's Seek and Destroy for Sting, and that's what played Sting to the ring. I love that Tony Khan got that song for Sting. It was perfect. So Sting makes his entrance, after he makes his entrance, as soon as they get to the ring, Darby Allin attacks the Young Bucks, and then all four of them, Sting's two sons, and Darby Allin, they all hit Stinger splashes on both Young Bucks, Nicholas and Matthew. So I'm reading this whole match word for word because this is Sting's last match, so enjoy it, guys. Let's see. They all four hit Stinger splashes on both their opponents in the corner. Sting then locks in a double Scorpion Deathlock on the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks wriggle out and the fight spills to the outside of the ring as Sting launches Nicholas Jackson and Matthew Jackson over the barricades. Meanwhile, Sting's sons start setting up various tables as Darby Allin gets out a big ladder, and then Darby then launches himself from the top turnbuckle out to both of the Young Bucks with a coffin drop as Sting then pulls out some glass and they lay it on top of several chairs that are all set up right next to each other. Sting then tries to take out both men with his baseball bat, but they avoid it, and the Young Bucks run away, and so Darby Allin and Sting give chase. They brawl up to the stage. Darby Allin is sent through some tables, and Matthew Jackson manages to suplex Sting off the stage and through several tables down below. Back inside the ring, the Young Bucks throw Darby Allin, who bounces off of a ladder propped up in the corner of the ring, and however, Darby Allin fights back and manages to hit Nicholas with a stunner as Matthew eats a code red. Darby bounces Nicholas head first off the steps repeatedly, and Darby then scales a ladder inside the ring and launches himself off the top, but Matthew moves Nicholas and Darby smashes through the glass and the chairs, and he rolls over on his stomach. Now, with Darby Allin's back immediately bleeding heavily, like when Darby first rolled over, he had no blood on his back. Then you just seen all the holes and cuts on his back because you seen blood start to form, and blood just started coming out and pouring out of Darby Allin's back. It was bleeding heavily. The Young Bucks then isolate Sting, but Sting avoids their attack, and the Young Bucks take each other out. Sting then starts climbing up the ladder, but Matthew gets up the ladder with Sting and powerbombs Sting, driving him through a table set up below. However, Sting pops up immediately, just no-sells it, and Sting starts throwing hands with both Young Bucks. But Young Bucks overpower Sting, and they throw him through that second pane of glass. Sting went right through it, just shattering it. Matthew then hit a low blow and then a Scorpion Death Drop to Sting. But Sting kicked out of that. Nicholas then tries to take one of the World Tag Team titles from Ricky Steamboat. Matthew hits Steamboat with a chair. Meanwhile, Matthew then wants to hit Sting with, one of the tag team title belts, but Flair covers Sting and says it's enough. So then the Young Bucks, they nail Ric Flair with the double super kick, and Steamboat then gets the same treatment with the double super kick. Matthew then nails Sting with the belt. And by the way, that chair shot, hitting Sting with the chair, that was Sting, not Ricky, I'm sorry. So they hit Sting with the chair, and then the rest of that happened. Double super kick to Flair, double super kick to Steamboat. Matthew Jackson then tries to nail Sting with the tag team title belt in the face. He hits it, but Sting kicks out again. And then Young Bucks hit Sting with a pair of super kicks, but Sting no-sells it and wipes out both Young Bucks. Matthew Jackson then is hit with a Scorpion Death Drop, but Nicholas breaks up the pinfall as Sting keeps fighting. And then the Young Bucks hit the EVP trigger and Sting kicks out again, but this time at a count of 1. Or no, the first time was a kick out at 2. So then the Young Bucks hit a second EVP trigger, but this time Sting kicks out at 1. And then Sting just asks for more. The Young Bucks hit another set of super kicks. The Young Bucks then go for the TK driver, but Darby pushes Nicholas, and Nicholas goes right through a table as Sting nails another Scorpion Death Drop, but Matthew kicks out. Darby then hits the coffin drop, and Sting sets in the Scorpion Deathlock one last time, making Nicholas Jackson tap out. Nicholas and Matthew Jackson lost here. Your winners and still the AEW World Tag Team Champions are indeed Sting and Darby Allin. Sting takes to the microphone and thanks the fans, and Sting says it's a night he'll never forget. Sting thanks Darby Allin, and he wonders how many stitches Darby Allin will need in his back, to fix the damage there. Sting says that Darby was a risk taker, or Sting was a risk taker in his young days, and he still is now. But Sting the show cuts off before Sting can finish his speech. So, right here, I have the rest of Sting's emotional speech. Right here. Sting's emotional speech after AEW Revolution 2024 retirement match victory. And, let's see. Sting, in his final match in professional wrestling, walked out of AEW Revolution with a win when he and Darby Allin defeated the Young Bucks, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. Following the match, Sting thanked the crowd for the support and also expressed his gratitude to AEW CEO Tony Khan. So this is what Sting had to say. Sting says, and I quote, "I was hoping that this night would be surreal in many ways. The video package that you saw before we got to the ring, and to see this is the exact boots, tights, and jacket that I wore way back when. And in later years, we got some cool Wolfpacks standing around here," referring to one of his sons dressed as Wolfpack Sting. "We're off the air now, so I can do that," Sting joked. "You know what, Greensboro? You've still got it. I do not have any words other than to say thank you, and I love you all so much," end quote. Sting then proceeded to call AEW CEO Tony Khan down to the ring. Sting said, and I quote, "I would like to call a very important person out. It would not be possible without Tony Khan. This is my last night, so I can say, Tony, hustle, come on." And Sting said to Tony Khan. Tony Khan then came out to the ring, hugged Sting, and thanked the fans for being part of the greatest wrestling pay-per-view ever, celebrating Sting's career. Now, Sting's tag team partner Darby Allin, who was bruised and battered after falling on glass, was left without words following Sting's match and hoped that the fans got their money's worth. Sting got back on the microphone and shouted out AEW commentator Tony Schiavone, who's been part of the icon Sting's pro wrestling journey for a long time. Schiavone proceeded to get on the microphone and declare, "It's Sting!" in his signature style, much to the delight of the fans in the arena, as the locker room then came out to show their appreciation for Sting in his career, Sting's career. But, oh man, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff, guys. Amazing. Now, Sting goes out on his front, retaining the AEW World Tag Team titles at AEW Revolution in his final match. The long and winding road came to its end, and it is now official that WWE Hall of Famer, former WCW, NWA, and TNA World Heavyweight Champion and current AEW World Tag Team Champion Sting has retired with an undefeated record in All Elite Wrestling, closing AEW Revolution with the victory. Sting is now 29-0, 29 wins, no losses. Sting teamed with Darby Allin to retain their AEW World Tag Team titles against Matthew and Nicholas Jackson in a brutal, bloody, emotional match in Greensboro, North Carolina's historic Greensboro Coliseum, which saw both Sting and Darby Allin put through glass, and Darby Allin take a horrifying tumble from a ladder through a pane of glass and chairs at ringside, requiring medical attention for much of the match. Matt Jackson finally submitted to Sting's trademark Scorpion Deathlock after a titanic display from the icon. Sting's retirement not only included Darby Allin and the Young Bucks, both of Sting's sons were not only involved in his entrance, but also hit a series of stinger splashes in the early moments of the match. Fellow WWE Hall of Famers the Nature Boy Ric Flair, woo, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat also got involved in the match, with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat acting as a special guest timekeeper and also taking out one of the Young Bucks during the more chaotic moments in the match. Sting and Darby Allin have been Tag Team Champion, AEW World Tag Team Champion since February 7th, winning them from Big Bill and Absolute Ricky Starks. After Revolution, it was announced that the AEW World Tag Team titles would be vacated following Sting's retirement, and a tournament would take place to crown new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Sting signed with AEW in 2020 following a brief retirement and returned to active competition in 2021, never once being pinned or submitted in his whole time with the promotion with AEW. I mean, Sting was treated, amazing. He was treated right. And Sting's retirement was just, everything that you would have wanted it to be. It was even in, the three things Wrestling Inc. hated and loved, about AEW Revolution. They had a couple things on Sting's retirement. One thing that Wrestling Inc. hated about Sting's retirement, it says, "Where is your overrun now, Tony?" It feels like not a week goes by that doesn't see AEW CEO Tony Khan kissing the feet of Warner Brothers Discovery, giving AEW Dynamite an overrun to the point that those extra 5 to 15 minutes of post-show time are baked into AEW storytelling, which is why it is mildly infuriating and admittedly a little funny that the end of Sting's career saw him stutter saying, "Hold on, I'm getting cues," then fade to black and a graphic reading, "End of AEW program." It was a hilariously ignoble end to a rock-solid pay-per-view. This is Wrestling Inc.'s take, by the way, not mine. There's plenty of armchair producing one could do directly after that sputtering finale. Did they need a 20-minute scramble match, especially one that felt so thrown together and underdeveloped? If ever there was a night to swing the pocketbook around and buy some extra time, surely it was for the night, which included the final words of the icon Sting. Alas, it was not to be. Maybe Metallica Seek and Destroy cost too much. Maybe Tony Khan was right to cut the feed before Darby Allin bled to death while Sting delivered his final goodbye. Hindsight, it is a imperfect thing. No matter what could have happened, what did happen probably could have been accompanied by the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song without much question. I don't agree with that take at all. I agree they should add more airtime, but I think Wrestling Inc.'s being a little harsh, if you ask me. Now, the one thing that Wrestling Inc. loved about Sting's retirement, it's a Sting's retirement match is handled to perfection. Considering that at one point Sting's final ever match was his infamous WWE Night of Champions match against Seth Rollins, the fact that audiences and Sting himself have been able to get to this point is a beautiful thing, and something that a career such as his deserves. AEW has treated him with the utmost respect from the moment he debuted, but the presentation of Sting's swan song at AEW Revolution was beautiful. AEW, the company, built the right level of drama around the match by making it personal and adding elements of Sting's family into it, and the fact that it all played out here was special. From the pre-match video of Sting rewatching clips of his career to him receiving a standing ovation after getting the win, Tony Khan knocked this one out of the park. Sting's entrance was truly special, and the idea of having his sons dressed as older versions of himself was a brilliant one. They added to the match early on, in what was no doubt an emotional moment for the three of them. Choosing to blare out Metallica Seek and Destroy was also a great call, setting the tone for the chaos and energy that the match was about to have. By this point, everyone knows what to expect with Sting's matches in AEW. But they took the violence, emotion, and risk-taking to a whole new level for the end. While Darby Allin's bump through the glass is sure to divide opinion, there's no questioning that it heightened the drama and helped to ensure people will not forget this one. Sting took his fair share of big bumps too, from being put through several tables to being launched into a pane of glass. It was clear that Sting wanted to go all out here, and that is exactly what he did. It summed up Sting's entire career perfectly, being someone who left it all inside of the ring for the fans, and that is exactly what Sting did here. The audience was hooked from minute one, and while there was a slight hiccup at the end when it came to his speech, the actual presentation of the last match could not have been done any better. While we can be quick to judge and criticize Tony Khan, he certainly deserves his flowers for how he put this together, while everyone involved in the match deserves credit for their efforts, which wrapped up a great pay-per-view and an even better career in style. That's what Wrestling Inc. had to say. And finally, guys, and the final thing here, AEW vacates the AEW World Tag Team titles following Sting's retirement. A tournament is set for March, which I told you guys in the preview prediction show this is the right thing to do here. The AEW World Tag Team Championships is officially up for grabs. At the media scrum following AEW Revolution, Tony Khan announced that Sting was retiring without he and partner Darby Allin having lost the titles. The titles were now officially vacant. Tony Khan indicated that a tournament for the vacant championships would be held across AEW programming on TBS and TNT throughout the month of March. Sting and Darby Allin defeated the Young Bucks in the last match of Sting's career, winning a Tornado Tag Team match that served as Revolution's main event of the evening, as Sting retires undefeated with a 29-0 record, as Sting and Darby Allin defeated Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the AEW World Tag Team titles on the February 7, 2024 episode of AEW Dynamite. The Revolution match with Matthew and Nicholas Jackson was their first and only AEW World Tag Team title defense. There's been no word so far on which teams will participate in the tournament. The only other tag team match on the card was Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli defeating FTR, seemingly cementing their status as a dedicated tag team in the process. One thing that seems clear is that Darby Allin will not be participating with the new partners. Tony Khan announced during the scrum that Darby Allin would be wrestling Switchblade Jay White in a singles match at AEW Dynamite Big Business, and Darby Allin himself said during the scrum that he was leaving to climb Mount Everest on March 27th of 2024. And there you go, guys. That was it. Great match from Sting. Absolutely awesome. Great way to wrap up his career. I mean, really, you couldn't ask for a better ending for Sting's career. This was absolutely brilliant. It was beautiful. AEW hit it out of the park. This is exactly what needed to be done. And, just awesome from Tony Khan here to do what he did and get this match done the way it needed to be done. And Sting, Sting to his grand entrance. Also, when he was sitting in the movie theater and it said one last show time and he was watching clips from his historic career, everything was brilliant. It was brilliant. What an awesome way for Sting to go out. So, Sting, you're going to be missed. Everybody loves you. And, but I'm saying, from me, Sting, thank you for everything that you did for me to make me feel special when we had our meet and greet. And I love you. I will miss you. And thank you so very much for your contribution to the professional wrestling business and for everything that you've done. From your debut in 1985 up until this point. Just absolutely amazing. Sting, truly one of the greats. One of the absolute greats. And, it's been an honor for me to cover this event. And, just to be here and cover it with you guys. I mean, his debut was on November 25th, 1985, and his career ended today, March 3rd, 2024. Just great stuff. So, Sting, I love you. Thank you for everything. And you will be missed. As far as my rating, guys, for AEW Revolution 2024, I'm going to say AEW Revolution definitely, without a doubt, gets a 10 out of 10 plus right here. And the 2 thumbs up, the big T seal of approval. Just an amazing show. If you guys missed it, you guys got to check it out and order the pay-per-view. And if you're going to see one pay-per-view all year, this is the one you need to see. This might even outdo WrestleMania 40. By the time WrestleMania 40 is all said and done, who knows? It'll definitely be more special and more emotional, but, Sting is just one of my favorites of all time. So, there you go, guys. And thank you very much for watching and listening to episode number 524 of the Beyond the Ring with Big T Elite Wrestling podcast here for today, Sunday, March 3rd, 2024. And that's going to do it for me, guys, right here on your AEW Dynamite, not AEW, AEW Revolution review and results show for today, Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, for your review and results of Revolution. And I will see you guys next time. And yes, there will be a next time for me right here on Beyond the Ring with Big T. That'll be for your WWE Monday Night Raw review and results show tomorrow night after WWE Monday Night Raw. Don't forget us and we won't forget you. And of course, if you want the best, and yes, I do mean the absolute best for all of your professional wrestling needs, don't forget to think Beyond the Ring with Big T. And of course, everybody, as always remember, never ever forget that I'm your host, Big T. I'll see all of you at the matches. And, take care, everybody. I love you all. And of course, good night, everybody. And we love you, Sting. Thank you, Sting. We love you.
This is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the Overman, Exodus Pro founder, EC3. I'm here with Big T, and you're watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is the Neon Tarantino, the Ace Degenerate, Super Indie Scorsese, the best professional wrestler in the Midwest, Derek Dillinger, and you're listening to, what is it? Beyond the Ring with Big T. Beyond the Ring with Big T. And that is a wrap. Cut!
This is M-Dog 20, Matt Cross. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and you were checking out Beyond the Ring with my man,
Big T.
Thank you, man.
Big T.
Hello, this is EC3 of TNA Wrestling, and you are so very fortunate because you are watching Beyond the Ring with Big T.
This is the bad boy Joey Janela, and you're watching Beyond the Ring, Big T.
just want to tell you guys real quickly, big thank you to Mr. Green of VJ's Imaging for the awesome overlay here for the show. Don't forget to donate to the show using PayPal. PayPal links at the top of the description of this video, every single video that I do. PayPal button on my YouTube homepage. Hashtag Justice for Pretty. All that good stuff. And, just wanted to shout that out and thank you for joining me here for this special coverage for AEW Revolution. I really appreciate it, guys. And I'll see you for Monday Night Raw coverage coming tomorrow. So, take care, everybody. I'm your host, Big T. I'll see all of you at the matches, and take care, everybody. I love you all. And good night, everybody. And thank you, Sting. And I love you, Sting. It's showtime. It will always be showtime. Love you, Sting.